I decided to make questions for all the topics in microbiology I'm studying. It just makes more easier for me to study and also sort of understand what professors want us to learn from each course. And whatever questions I make might be basic, but I think it's really important to understand the basics. So here we go. So how to answer different types of questions, you'll be able to see in my video how I would answer. Maybe it could be helpful. So the first question is, what is the difference in peptidoglycan during exponential and stationary growth of microorganisms? So exponential growth and stationary growth, as you remember from basic microbiology, the growth curve for microorganisms would be here, and log phase would be your exponential growth, and suddenly they enter stationary growth. So in exponential growth, microorganisms have a lot of nutrients that they can use off to populate, so really divide and colonize the area. So for them, it makes sense for them to have weaker peptidoglycan, which means that it's more flexible because they would contain more of the monomers. And this is important because in order for cells to divide, cell elongation and cell division, they all require the peptidoglycan and septum formation and split that into two cells from one cell. And if you have too many of the cross-linking, it's not going to be easy. So exponential growth, microorganisms will have weaker cell wall and less cross-linking, but they are able to grow much faster. And how about when they enter into stationary growth? So now they don't have enough nutrients for all of them to really grow fast, and they already have enough populations. Stationary growth is just at the point where you're not really dying, but you're not really growing much. Well, it's technically the number of death and number of growth is equal. So here, instead of having weaker cell wall, now you'll have stronger peptidoglycan or cell wall, and you would contain more lipoprotein bound muropeptides. And peptidoglycan would contain more cross-linking between NAM and NAG, because cells now have to be able to protect themselves from being burst. So cell wall actually helps bacteria or any of the organisms that have them from osmotic pressure or cell from bursting. And it also helps them keep their shapes too. So in stationary phase, you would have more rigid peptidoglycan, but in return it's going to be strong and it's going to protect those microorganisms. So this is some difference in peptidoglycan during exponential and stationary growth.